2, 1, mark.
Hi there, my name is Stephen Gregson, and this is my final YouTube video project for FN20 at Long Beach City College. And for this project, we've been asked to talk about a chronic disease, and I picked depression. And while it's not the most lighthearted of topics, it's personal to me and it affects millions of Americans. And in this video, I will cover the symptoms of depression, what we know about the causes of it, and some of the things that you can do to relieve depression, both the Western, clinical, traditional way and more holistic way, and how it ties back to our nutrition. And so here's some of the symptoms, just to get started here. The most obvious symptom is low mood. You're being, depression is characterized not by just one or two bad days, but a general kind of bummed out feeling that lasts for weeks. And another symptom is low energy, meaning you just feel tired all the time, even if you've been sleeping a lot. And another example is you just don't enjoy the things that you used to enjoy anymore, and things that you used to find fun, like your favorite hobby or sport, or even a loss of your sex drive. And not being able to sleep or sleeping all the time, insomnia, is also associated with depression. And of course, feeling worthless or guilty or kind of fixating how you've failed in the past. Basically, if you relate to BoJack Horseman on a personal level, you're very likely depressed. And so now that we talked about some of the symptoms, what do we know about what causes depression? And we don't really know the exact precise causes of depression. We do know it has something to do with our serotonin levels in the brain, and we have identified some of the risk factors for depression. So some key examples of these risk factors are stressful life events such as a divorce, unemployment, or losing a loved one. Could be childhood abuse or trauma. Drug abuse can certainly cause depression, and genetics in your environment can also contribute to depression. And lastly, the last factor I'd like to focus on here is nutritional deficiencies. So if you have poor eating habits or nutrition, it's very likely you don't really feel the best mentally either. And so by eating better, hopefully we can get you to feel better. But some of the nutritional deficiencies here are omega-3s, which are needed for brain function, memory, and mood. It's basically the healthy fats that your brain needs to work its best. And vitamin D, which comes from sunlight and being outside. And also iodine is important for thyroid function. There's a couple other ones, but we can get into that at another time. And so while we don't know the exact cause of depression, we have identified some of the primary risk factors that might contribute to it. So let's get into what can you do about it. So starting with some of the mainstream tests and treatments, the typical course of action that your doctor would do. And just FYI, I am not a doctor or a med student, so this is not medical advice, but often depression is treated with a SSRI prescription medication like Zoloft or Prozac or any number of those medicines that you've seen advertised on TV. Another method is called CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, but that's really more complicated than I can cover here. Some other options include SSRIs, SNRIs, tricyclics, and MAOIs, and in some extreme cases, electroconvulsive therapy will be used when all other treatments are ineffective. That's basically shock therapy. Not something that you want to have to resort to. So outside of these traditional Western means, one of the most commonly prescribed methods of treating depression is lifestyle change. So this includes not just behavioral changes, but dietary changes. So here's some changes you could do to improve your mood and help reduce your risk of developing depression. So first is to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. They're severely lacking in the Western diet, and they're full of all kinds of great antioxidants. Second is whole grains such as whole wheat, So we have whole wheat flour here instead of white flour. And we also have some brown rice. And third, eat more seeds and nuts because those are rich in omega-3s. And also some lean, low-fat proteins like yogurt right here. I don't have any fish to show you, but fish is another good one. And 5 would be to get more B vitamins, which are B6 is found in seafood, poultry, bananas, and green leafy vegetables. And B12 is found in animal products such as meat, fish, poultry, eggs, and dairy, such as this and the eggs right here, which are also a great source of omega-3s, DHA, EPA, whatever. And lastly, I'd like to say that you need to avoid sugar and processed foods. So this includes like deli-style processed meats like bacon, pastrami, or roast beef. And to avoid processed foods with added sugar like the common breakfast cereal like Lucky Charms. So basically, eat more plants, eat less processed foods. And in addition to a healthy diet, the lifestyle changes that we could take action on to help treat depression, the first one would be to exercise. Exercise basically increases your body's production of your brain's natural antidepressants. And so the Mayo Clinic recommends exercising 30 minutes for 3 to 5 days per week, which is about the recommended exercise I've seen from like any medical thing. It will help reduce your stress, improve your mood, boost your self-esteem, and provide a restful sleep. And speaking of sleep, another change we could make is to practice what I call sleep hygiene, which is because insomnia is closely associated with depression. So regularly getting enough sleep is really important. And another lifestyle change that I've just embarked on is to quit smoking cigarettes. So smoking has all kinds of really nasty health effects that we know about, like cancer, COPD, emphysema, etc. But overall, quitting smoking appears to reduce anxiety and depression. And a really important factor when you're depressed is to have a close network of family and friends and loved ones who can support you when you're having rough times. And lastly, I like to recommend mindfulness meditation. It can be relaxing and really help reduce your stress, but there's a zillion other YouTube videos out there about meditation that you can search for above. And so while the lifestyle changes and some of those dietary changes are important, let's look at a couple of home remedies, herbal extracts, and supplements that are over the counter, so not as like traditional treatments. Very popular treatment is St. John's wort. Now, St. John's wort is basically a herbal extract, and it gets a lot of praise, but it's really kind of limited in the evidence for it. But talk to your doctor before doing any of these. And another one is called SAMI, which is a prescription in Europe and over the counter in the US. They show that works. Tryptophan and 5-HTP are an interesting one. I think the most promising one in this list. It can help boost your serotonin levels. Basically helps your body produce serotonin because your body converts the 5-HTP into serotonin. Another one is inositol, which is an alcohol sugar found in fruits, and research is really limited. Music therapy, listen to music. It's going to brighten up anyone's day. And while the exact cause of depression aren't so clear, it's a chronic condition that affects millions of people. And the mainstream media or mainstream medical treatments for depression tend to focus on the pharmaceutical side of things and just prescribing more pills. But there's a lot of changes that we can make to our lifestyle to have a more active lifestyle and a healthy diet. It'll help reduce not only our risk of depression, but also other conditions like cardiovascular disease and diabetes. So ultimately, we all want to live a longer, healthier, and of course, a happier life by eating healthier. All right.
Thank you very much.
How long